McCann is back in the lineup. The Seattle Kraken, the Dallas Stars. On the follow-up, they score from an impossible angle. Brandon Montour with a hope play that has plenty of net. He'll amble in for a chance. Caught! Joey Decord, a dandy. Right up the gut. Done with a shot. He scores! How do you like that? Vince Dunn, 18 seconds in. The Seattle Kraken get set for McDavid, Draisaitl, and the Edmonton Oilers. Out in front, kicked out by Decord. Decord gets to the second chance. Ty Cartier and Alec Regula. Good work by Ty Cartier as he pounds away and gets on top.
Since day one this season, the Kraken have been hovering around the top of the Pacific Division. They've improved in some key areas, and the winning mentality among the players is contagious. Welcome to Kraken Home Ice. Coming up on this week's show, Jordan Eberle is the oldest player on the Kraken roster. With age comes experience. The captain talks about the state of the team as they enjoy early season success. The Kraken have established themselves as one of the top defensive teams in the league. Head coach Lane Lambert tells us why it takes more than talent. And Mason Marchment is new to Seattle this season. At one point as a teenager, he was new to hockey. He'll explain his late start in the sport. Saturday, the Kraken face the Oilers at Climate Pledge. Oilers on a power play. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins capitalizes on some nice passing. He scores the first goal of the game. The Oilers get on the board 3 more times. Connor McDavid caps the scoring in the third period. Oilers goalie Stuart Skinner stops all 26 shots he faces as the Kraken get shut out 4-0.
They let one get away. They're a good team over there. They've obviously been through a lot the last couple of years, have experience, and you just got to be out for those games, and obviously we were not. So learn from that.
It's one game. Obviously it's kind of trickled a little bit here. So yeah, I think it's just good 4 days here to just regroup and come back focused and ready.
There was a few opportunities that probably could have went in the net for us, but it didn't. So we just have to continue to work at it. 0 for 11 here in the last 2 home games and 2 losses on the power play isn't a formula for success.
On Wednesday against the Stars, Jared McCann made his return to the ice. His first game back since October 18th after missing time with a lower body injury. But 2 minutes into the game, McCann takes a high stick to the face. A little blood, but it's not enough to end his night. Kraken down 1-0 in the first period before Brandon Montour scores from an almost impossible angle. It bounces off the goalie and in to tie the game at 1. The Stars regain the lead, but the Kraken draw even in the third when Vince Dunn fires one home. Unfortunately, that was the last goal for Seattle. Stars win it 3-2. Jordan Eberle leads the Kraken with calm confidence and veteran experience. He sets the pace on the ice, and off the ice, he anchors the locker room and continues to deliver when this team needs him most. Brianna Vasquez talked to Eberle about what's been working this season.
Eberle, here he comes, bullseye!
It's their best start in 5 years. The Kraken are racking up the points from wins and overtime games. This team has been all fight until the very end, a precedent that Captain Jordan Eberle set at the start.
Our identity coming into each game this year was just, make sure the other team knows that they're in a game. And, when you're going to overtime every game, that seems to be the message.
Brandon Montour wins it in overtime!
With 9 overtime games this season, the Kraken are playing a lot of extra hockey. At their current pace, they're just 4 shy of their overall OT total from last season.
With a shot fought off by Hill, they score!
Showing great improvement, but with more to focus on.
Defensively, we've played well. I think offensively, we need to find a little bit of, get more shots and try and score some more goals. I think that goes for itself. But ultimately, the team's backbone of this is defending, and I think for the most part, we've done that.
The Kraken have been the comeback kids, often overcoming a point deficit to win.
At the end of the day, you don't want to be in those situations, though. You want to try and be ahead and push and keep going. The characteristics, you got to find ways to win each night, whether you're coming from behind or, you have a lead and you continue to keep the lead or whatever it may be.
The want to win has never been greater for Ebbs and the crew.
The good thing is that we've had the consistency and the will to come back.
With 16 seasons under his belt, Eberle knows a thing or two about the game and uses that to mentor the younger players, particularly fellow Saskatchewan native Berkeley Catton.
Yeah, I mean, I was in his shoes once upon a time, a young kid. And, I think for him, it's just you continue to play, you get confidence, you get a little more comfortable with the league, and you get used to the playing style. So I think as he grows, he's just going to continue to get better.
While he's teaching his teammates, Ebbs is learning lessons from them as well.
It kind of brings out, the energy and makes you feel good and young at certain times. But, this all of them now, they skate so well, they think the game so well, they're passionate about it.
It's easy to see the mood in the locker room is a lot lighter this season. There's plenty of smiles on the players' faces.
I think the winning cures everything. So, we're only a quarter way through the season, but, we want to consistently be in each game each night.
As he leads the Kraken, Eberle has a lot to be thankful for.
My family, I got 3 beautiful kids, a beautiful wife. I think, it's always nice to, especially we've been gone for a week, to come back home and kind of recharge the batteries.
Lane Lambert asks a lot from his team, and they've been delivering. We talked to Lambert about long road trips and overtime games. And in this week's shootout, food is on the mind. With it being Thanksgiving week, we asked the players about their favorite cheat meals. The Kraken got creative with their giveaways this year. On Wednesday, the first 10,000 fans at Climate Pledge Arena received their very own one-of-a-kind Kraken gravy boat. This is not your average serving dish. The gravy boat includes the famous Kraken tentacle on the side. It's the perfect accessory for any Thanksgiving table, no matter what you're serving up. Hopefully by now you've recovered from your Thanksgiving feast food coma. And with food on the mind, we asked the players what are their favorite go-to cheat meals.
I love chips, Ruffles all dressed.
Nice burger, some fries, a milkshake, maybe some crumble cookie after.
Probably just a cheeseburger.
Probably a burger.
Yeah, burger.
Burger.
A burger. Favorite cheat meal would be Chick-fil-A.
Five Guys.
I like pizza.
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 Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Cheat meal. Oof. That's a tough one. Maybe some chocolate chip cookies.
Just cookies.
I'll go boneless wings from Wingstop, like a honey garlic sauce.
Intensity is one of the words we heard a lot of during training camp. And 2 months into the season, nothing's changed. The Kraken started the week having played the most overtime games in the NHL this season. We talked to head coach Lane Lambert and asked him if that never give up mentality is building among his players.
We're in every game, and that's what we talked about. We're hard to play against, and as a result of that, games are close, games are tight, and so it's really good for our group in terms of understanding that every second counts, every play counts, because there is such a fine line or a slim margin of error kind of thing. So it's good from that standpoint to continue to build that mentality.
Well, it's credit to the entire team, obviously, but more focused on goalies and defensemen. You guys are ranked in the top 5 in goals against per game. Your goalies get credit for a lot of it, but how much is it a statement of your defensemen and the way they're playing?
It's all 5 guys out on the ice, and that's kind of what I talked about when I first got the job in terms of playing defense. It's a 5-man, responsibility, and our forwards are doing a real good job of getting back and helping out. Our defensemen are doing a very good job. We have, we have a real strength back there on defense with our group, and our goaltenders have played well, and we just got to keep it going.
His shot is blocked beautifully by Eeli Tolvanen.
We're trying to, build or create an environment that gives our goaltenders a really good chance to have success. And what I mean by that is, keep the high danger shots down to a minimum and spend as little time as possible in our zone under duress. And so I think we've done a pretty good job of that.
Adam Larson ranks in the top 10 as far as blocking shots. To me, it feels like That's a special person to be, throwing his body in front of a 100-mile-an-hour puck. But how much of that is a want to?
It's our overall commitment from our team and our willingness to, commit to putting themselves in harm's way in order to, come out at the end of the night victorious. And, Adam's a guy who, in penalty killing, he's not afraid to get in front of a shot. 5-on-5, he'll block shots. But your question is how much of it is a willingness?
Yeah.
And it's a big part of it is a willingness, because you can kind of sort of look like you're in the right spot when I know you're not. And, we've got guys that get into the right spots.
You watch this, and I think fans might take it for granted when they see it on TV. A guy lays out, blocks a shot, but that's got to be a skill too, as far as blocking it the right way and avoiding injury.
The biggest thing is if you're not afraid to block a shot, you're probably in the right spot. It's when you kind of flinch or turn or whatever you might do, and then you get hit in the side of the ankle instead of in the shin pad or the back of the leg or whatever, you're just better off to get in the shot lane, and you'll have a lot more success from that standpoint, not only with blocking the shot, but also with not getting injured.
Okay, so I can't imagine it's something you practice too much.
Well, no, but I have in the past, sponge pucks. You can practice it that way. There's no question about it.
Yeah, sponge pucks.
Yeah, they're not hard rubber, but you can practice that way.
You don't risk as much injury that way. That's good. All right, we have a segment every week called the Shootout. We ask players kind of off the wall questions. We asked them recently if they could have their own superpower, what would it be? So as we wrap this up, entertain us and humor us with what you would be what would be your superpower?
Yeah, ironically, mine would be to fly.
Yeah.
And I think probably that would be yours now too, after your 9 hours in the Nashville airport.
Yeah.
So
I would love to have that superpower at that point.
Yeah, it would be something to be able to fly.
Mason Marchment is living out his hockey dreams, but he didn't always know if these dreams would become a reality. Next, Mason tells us about his road to the pros and who guided him along the way. Plus, the Seattle Torrent played at Climate Pledge Arena for the first time as a PWHL team. What it meant to the team to play in front of a packed home crowd. On Wednesday, Mason Marchment faced his former team, the Dallas Stars. The forward has quickly found his place in Seattle, but he didn't always know he belonged in the NHL. Piper Shaw talked to Marchment about the valuable mentors who helped get him to where he is today.
Since before Mason Marchment could walk, the rink was his playground.
My dad played. I always thought it was the coolest thing ever.
And hockey meant family.
My favorite player growing up was Joe Thornton. My dad played for the Sharks for 7-8 years, so they were my favorite team growing up. Pretty cool how I got to meet all those guys growing up.
As the son of longtime NHL defenseman Brian Marchment, it would be easy to assume that a future in hockey seemed obvious for a young Mason.
I was just never very good at it, so I never really loved it that way.
An active kid who played several sports, hockey didn't come easily for him.
I was probably 15 or 16. My dad told me, you got to pick one sport. I told him, okay, I'll pick hockey. And then I played basketball for the high school team and broke my ankle and then grew from like 5'5" to almost 6 foot in the next year or so.
Once Mason figured out how to harness that physical edge and turn his growing frame into a weapon, his game evolved.
Puts it away, and this building is going berserk.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like growing up, I was, like I said, I was so small. So I was always this little kind of skill guy, and then I grew to 6'4" in a year and a half. I wasn't that little skill guy anymore. So to make it, I kind of had to, play a pretty physical, upbeat role, and that really helped me kind of get to where I am, because I don't think there's too many guys like that anymore.
And so did his belief that there might just be a place for him in pro hockey someday.
Probably fell in love with it when I was probably 18, 19. That's when I really started playing like really competitive hockey, and kind of just like, man, I could do this for a living. So ran with it from there.
At 19, Marchment was just breaking into major junior hockey. 2 injury-ridden seasons with the OHL followed, and he continued to be undrafted, yet undeterred. He signed his first pro deal with the Toronto Marlies of the AHL in 2016, and with help from power skating specialist Barb Underhill, began transforming both his stride and his story.
Dubas was the GM at the time. He basically said, listen, we want you here, we want you around these guys, but you're not going to play any games. I basically just did power skating with Barb for hour and a half every day, and then worked out every day. So, you know, Dubas really believed in me and saw kind of what I could be and, you know, guided me that way.
When he was traded to the Florida Panthers in 2020, it felt like he had finally earned a regular shift in the show.
My first year in Florida, I had Quenneville as a coach, and he was very good to me and honest, straight up with me. So nothing but respect for him. You know, we still keep in touch every now and then, but yeah, he gave me a really good opportunity early, and I was playing with Barkov and Huberdeau on the line, and I was like, oh my God, like this is crazy. You know, that was kind of when I was like, wow, like I'm here, yeah.
It was also in Florida that Mason found himself in a full circle moment, lacing up his skates, now as a teammate, next to his childhood hero.
I ended up getting to play with Jumbo in Florida too. That was pretty cool.
Mason inherited his dad's nickname in the locker room, Mush. And it was in Florida that he would make a new lifelong connection in Brandon Montour.
He was probably, you know, one of my closest buddies in Florida, and, you know, dinners and going out. We were a little younger then, no kids at the time. You know, obviously our wives were still with us, and it feels like forever ago.
He was in Florida with me briefly. He comes in day one, and, you know, it seems like he's probably been here for 10 years, one of those. Similar personalities though, I think, so that's, you know, we do well together, and I know he's excited about being a part of this too, and you know, finding the way to win. And, you know, when you got a guy like that that's excited about being in a contract here and proving himself and working for a new deal, but being a part of something here that we're trying to do, and, you know, bring winning culture and playoffs every year, and that's a guy that you want on your team.
Once reunited in the deep, Monty and Mush didn't miss a beat.
Monty on the march now, goes to the corner, has Marchment, who scores! Mason Marchment has his first goal as a Seattle Kraken.
Fun to kind of come back together and, you know, play again.
Now a tested playoff performer.
And they score on the near side. What a blast from Marchment.
Mason Marchment made his game to menace.
Make some plays, kind of in your face, kind of all over the place kind of guy.
Marchment right in, a power move. Stolars is hot, and everybody's in.
His dad passed suddenly in 2022. And every shift that Mason's earned serves as a reminder that the rink is still a playground.
See the smile as well, all fun and games.
I just believed in myself that I could get here, and a really long journey and not an easy one, but you know, we're here now, and we just keep working and living day by day and enjoying it.
And the game is still about family.
My dad taught me growing up is just come to the rink every day and be a good person and work as hard as you can, and you know, the rest will take care of itself.
The Seattle Torrent made history on Friday, playing their inaugural home game at Climate Pledge Arena. The fans packed the house to see the Torrent play the Minnesota Frost. It was a record-breaking night, 16,014 fans in attendance, the most at a women's hockey game in a U.S. arena. Even though Seattle lost 3-0 to Minnesota, Captain Hillary Knight is encouraged with the potential she's seeing.
The first period was outstanding, and if we can bottle that up and play 3 periods like that, we're going to be a lethal team to play against. So I think you saw glimpses of our potential and what we're capable of, and now it's just stringing that together every single shift from the collective group. And we're learning every single day. We're coming to the rink working probably the hardest we've ever worked before, and that's exciting because we're going to see that growth, and it's going to translate well for us.
There's a lot happening at a Kraken practice, from shootout drills to face-off exercises. Sometimes the team has to get creative. That's where the practice dummies come in. Next on Kraken Home Ice, the story behind the on-ice help. An NHL roster can have a maximum of 23 active players, but sometimes there's a few extras at practice helping with drills. The plot twist? They're not actually hockey players, Brianna Vasquez introduces us to the Kraken's practice dummies.
They say practice makes perfect. And while a lot of the players get to see their improvement during games, there are two guys who take a beating out here and they'll never see any game time. Meet Harry and Lloyd. They're two members of the Kraken you might not recognize. They suit up in the same gear, show up to the same practice facility, and participate in the same drills. But you won't be hearing from them in media availability. That's because they're practice dummies.
We've sort of affectionately been calling them Harry and Lloyd this year from Dumb and Dumber.
The dynamic duo serve as a tool for players to practice shots without having to hold back.
You don't want to put Schwartz or Canner or somebody who's anybody, right, in front of us, and then some teammate rips pucks at them, right, so they get hit. So that's obviously a good thing to have.
Players can shoot as hard as they like, and then obviously the dummies don't feel the pucks.
They're also a huge help to the goaltenders.
Trying to simulate a couple traffic situations where you have to find your lane. In the game, there's guys crossing in front of you.
They are like a very close replica of what a player would look like in front of the net. We also have a skate lace and a portion of a stick attached to them, so I can push them and pull them through the goalie's eyes to kind of replicate what we call a flash screen, which is when a player kind of goes through the goalie's eyes at an inopportune time for us goaltenders, and we lose our sightline momentarily. So that's something that we can recreate.
Practice dummies aren't just a tool in the NHL. Kraken goalie coach Colin Zulianello also used them during his time with Coachella Valley.
In the American Hockey League, you have quite a bit more practice time, and it enables you to kind of get more sort of goalie sessions in. So we would use them very frequently. We also use them a lot for our players to shoot through. We put them in scenarios where they'd have to miss the dummy, shoot through the dummy, and so on and so forth. So they were kind of a common staple in our skills days in Coachella Valley.
Harry and Lloyd live in the entrance of the Kraken's locker room and are known to take the players and coaches by surprise.
They spook a lot of us when we're walking through that tunnel and forgetting that they're not real people standing there. And even though I use them frequently, they still get me a time or two as well.
It's actually funny because when we take a couple people through, like family that comes through and just wants to see the facility, they walk out there and they're like, oh.
They're also not immune to the players' shenanigans.
Their faces do get drawn on. We don't know by whom.
Maybe Tolvi has drawn a couple things on there.
As we head into December, there's plenty of hockey happening at Climate Pledge Arena. On Wednesday, the Seattle Torrent hosts the New York Sirens. And on Saturday, the Detroit Red Wings come to town to face the Kraken. So the Kraken head into a new month, ready to keep the momentum from a busy and successful November. And that'll do it for this episode of Kraken Home Ice. Thanks for looking in. We'll see you next week.